Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to tell you all about the latest from Fight the Fight, Deliverance, out September 18th on Metal Blade Records. The album has 10 tracks, 37 minutes in length, and this is the band's second full-length studio album. Every time I hear there's a band from Norway releasing a new album, two words come to my mind. Black metal? No, this is not a black metal band, and this is definitely not a black metal album, but these guys are from Norway. For this record, I felt that they've created an album that has two main focal points: the sound and the vocals. They really dictate everything else that happens, and everything feeds off of those two main elements. As far as the sound goes, this is to me the most consistent element of the record. You feel like they have a soundscape that they've created for themselves, and they stay true to that soundscape across all 10 tracks. There's not a lot of deviations whatsoever. Even within that sound itself, if you look at the way the guitars are recorded on this record, I always felt that on every song, when the track was a little bit heavier, the guitars had a lot more volume. They seemed thicker. When the sound was a lot groovier, a lot more melodic, they felt more stripped down, more driven, more penetrating. And this stays true across every single song. What changes is how they construct the tracks and how they move these pieces around. And then to me, there's two other elements that really dictate the fluidity that the record has. One of them being that main core element, which is the vocals. The vocals are perhaps the most dynamic element on this album. They're really pulling the strings and changing the directions of the songs. While the sound stays very consistent, the vocals don't. Different approaches within the songs themselves, and then on a track-by-track basis, they really change. You change from what you get in the verses to what you get in the chorus, the pre-choruses, how you mix them together, clean vocals with harsh vocals, different styles of harsh vocals, screaming vocals. There's just a lot of things coming at you, not only on a single track basis, which makes the tracks themselves very dynamic, but then when you look at the big picture of the record, every song has a different blueprint as far as the vocals are concerned, or how those styles of vocals are incorporated into the track itself. And this to me is where the album really gains life, and this is the heartbeat of the record, because it allows the album to be consistent across all the other parameters, while this one is really just changing things up and giving you a different look and a different feel. So songs that otherwise perhaps would sound similar or have a similar construction and a similar approach now feel completely different because of how dynamic the vocals are. The structure of the record really helps that as well, by the way. I felt that they did a wonderful job alternating songs, never putting two tracks that have similar structures or similar feels or even similar atmospheres together. They did a wonderful job alternating tracks to give the album a little bit of an up and down roller coaster ride all the way through the 10 songs. You need to create as many elements of change or as many dynamic elements as possible to really change the eyesight of the listener and keep the listener engaged track after track after track. Specifically when your sound is very similar or very cohesive, or you have a soundscape that you're really not willing to deviate too much from. You have to create external sources of change, of dynamic changes, in order for the listener to really engage himself with the record and stay engaged with the record. Otherwise, by the time you get to the last song, the whole album just feels like one really long track, because you can't even break them apart and say which song was number one or which song was number two. This record doesn't have that aspect. Underneath the hood, it does, but when you're listening to the album and by the time you get to the end, you can definitely go back and say that this song was this way, that song felt this way, the mood on this song was much different than the mood on that track. And that to me comes from the great job that they did alternating tracks, creating a very dynamic track listing, and obviously internally how the vocals were used throughout the album. Overall, this is a very well constructed, very well delivered record. This is the second album from the band. So you have to see some growth within the band, and you have to see some growth as they move along. And to me, this album shows a lot of aggression, a lot of consistency, and at the same time, the ability to still be very melodic and groovy at the same time, and do that across all 10 songs without really deviating too much from that beaten path. As far as songs are concerned, I want to start off with Deliverance. This is the opening track on the album, and it's a banger. It's really a track that showcases a little bit of everything that you're going to get throughout the record. It showcases how heavy they can be, how melodic they can be, how dark the songs can be, the changes in vocals, the different vocal approaches, how they construct the songs, how they merge the verses and the chorus, how they do the transitions. everything that you're gonna get on this record or on the rest of the other tracks, the other 9 tracks, is present in this song. This song is really a synopsis of everything that's to come after, and in my opinion is the perfect calling card for this record. It has a little bit of a relentless approach to it, both musically and vocally. It makes that, added to the fact that it has a lot of power, makes it, like I said, the perfect opening. And it starts off the album with a bang, which is always the way you want to start off a record. The chorus offers a little bit more of grooviness, a little bit more of melody, and the vocals are something that, in my opinion, really contain that approach. It allows the music to go a little bit beyond, but still stay very contained within its reach. The verses are more dynamic than the chorus, both musically and vocally. The chorus is a little bit more restrained, and the vocals really restrain it as far as the overall construction of the track is concerned. But this is a banger, and like I said, perfect track to open it up and really give you a big picture of what this album has in store for the listener. Next, Calling You Back. This is my favorite song on the album. A slower, more melancholic, more melodic, a little bit of a darker mood, atmosphere that this track has, and I love it. It just feels a little bit more of a dark presence overall. The verses are more stripped down, and the vocals lead the way. They're really like the beacon that everything else follows. You really feel like you're following the vocals all the way through when you're in the verses. When you move into the chorus, it changes. The song becomes a lot more dynamic. It gains a lot of life. It really feels like you're getting a fresh breath air coming in, and your lungs are just filling up. It just has a lot more presence. It has a lot more substance. It has more sound. It has haunting vocals that really add to that melancholic atmosphere that the overall song has. This makes for a very impactful chorus and really gives the album, this song within the album, perhaps the best chorus, the more hooky, the more catchy chorus, at least the more bombastic one, the more memorable chorus in the album is in this song, and that's why it's my favorite track. I just love how it feels. I love the darkness that it has, but at the same time, the heaviness that the overall song packs, and how melodic and groovy it be at times. Love the way they constructed this song. Just outstanding track. Last but not least, Pittbull. Heavy, powerful as it opens, and it stays that way. It pretty much continues that way all the way through. There are some drops, there are some dips in intensity, and there are some dips in aggression, but overall you still feel like this is a heavy track all the way through from beginning to end. There's also some melody hidden in there, not a lot. This is a more heavy driven track, but there's still some melody present. They always try to find this fine balance between heaviness and melody throughout every single song. And I always feel like they walk that fine line between the two, and they always seem to be able to juggle. You always seem to feel like the songs are never too heavy and never too melodic. They're just right in the middle. And this song is the perfect example of how they constructed a song that offers a little bit of a glimpse of both worlds, but they always walk right in the middle of them, never really taking part on going more towards one side or going more towards the other. The chorus is very simple. That makes it hooky, that makes it catchy, but it's really the simplicity of it, not necessarily the energy that it packs, the lyrics, or even the music that surrounds it. This is it. Fight the Fight with Deliverance, once again out September 18th on Metal Blade Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.